This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
We are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code Dan for a special offer when you sign up. That's code Dan, only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Greg Cote of the Miami Herald is usually in with us on Tuesdays. He will be in with us tomorrow. I wanted to get into a couple of things. One of them serious, what happened in New York with Salman Rushdie. But before we do that, I want to make sure that it gets out into the public. I don't know if Billy's making the accusation formally or not, but evidently there are ideas stolen around here all the time. Chris Cote was afraid to reveal his idea and business plan because he's afraid it's going to be stolen. Billy, are you alleging that a sports team has stolen your or our idea? I don't know what the idea is, but is it your sports team that stole it?
There was a coincidental thing that happened yesterday with the Marlins, and I don't know if you're aware of this. Are you familiar with Sandy Alcantara? You are. Amin?
I am.
Okay, so the Marlins have been doing this thing every time he has a start called Sandy's Beach, where it's like a special ticket promotion, and then part of it, it's like a section that's geared towards Sandy, and there's like a T-shirt that's given away to all the people that sit in said section. And it's not the same shirt. It's not like Cody's Heroes or any of those that they did with Cody Ross back in the day. Like every game, it's a different shirt. So it incentivizes people like, oh, let me go get this if I want to get this shirt of Sandy, right? So yesterday's shirt, a red shirt, had Sandy pitching. And on the top of the shirt, above Sandy pitching, it just said, El Caballo.
No.
Love that, man. Love that. What does he mean by that?
Have they stolen that from us? Did they steal?
I mean,
Billy, I know who to blame.
I'm kind of wondering if it's the same situation.
Me and you, I think, are on the same page. There's somebody in here that lives in both worlds.
There's a rat.
There's a rat in the house.
Is that Jeremy?
I will not sit
I didn't say that. You said it. I didn't say it. I don't know. Talk to anybody. I have no idea what's going on.
I will not sit for this. I will not sit for this.
We didn't say that.
You're sitting. You're literally sitting.
Yeah.
Well, I felt like it would have been weird if I said I won't stand for this and I was sitting.
I'm standing for it.
Well, if you're sitting and you're saying I won't stand for it, it would actually make sense.
Yeah, I won't stand for this.
I won't.
Go to the couch. Go to the couch.
Back to therapy.
I'll get back to you.
Get out, Roy. They've been delighting in sending you to therapy. All right, get out there. Roy delighting in sending you to
You're
Got
fine.
enough off mine. Let's get
fine.
Roy in therapy if he thinks it's so easy.
Are you guys
Why
not
would I
sitting
go?
for
I didn't
this?
do anything.
I don't know. Am I supposed to stand for this?
Are you
No,
standing
you
for
won't
it?
stand for it. Sit down.
Sit down. You
Unless
won't
you
stand.
will stand
okay.
for this. And are you guys
I think
standing
it's
for
unfair.
someone?
Wait, my bad. I won't
Dude.
stand for this. Yeah, now I nailed it.
It's like his Twitter account.
What won't
3
you
weeks later.
What won't you be standing for? That the slandering of your beloved Jer Bear?
Correct.
Okay,
He
so
would never do anything to hurt anyone.
all right. So how did it become El Caballo?
Bears hurt people.
Wait a second. I mean, we have a fairly massive platform here, and if the Marlins marketing department wants to use something that's been said on our show before, we should find it flattering. I'm standing for it.
You are standing for it. Okay.
But
He's right. I'll sit for it. Did I get that one right? No, that one I got right because I wouldn't sit for it, and now I'm sitting for it.
No, you did
What
not
it really
get
comes down
You know
to,
what you're talking about?
I feel like we started this Caballo thing, right? Or you started this, Dan. If anyone started, you started it, right? The Caballo thing, right?
Thank you, Dan.
It was long before me that Hispanic people referred to an ace pitcher as El Caballo. El
you're
Caballo.
the
So why are we mad that the Marlins took it if
Well,
we
because
didn't
we
come
didn't
up
get
with
any shirts is really the thing. So, like, if a box of shirts makes its way over here, we're not going to be upset.
El
You know?
Caballo is Carlos Lee's nickname.
That's another thing.
What are we doing?
Former Marlin great.
Carlos Lee. Why are you accusing a coworker, Billy, of poisoning you?
Oh, well, because
Wait, is this the same person?
this is unrelated. This is.
But is it this? It's the unrelated, but is it the same
Hildy!
person? Oh, okay.
No, this wasn't Jer Bear.
Okay.
This is Kristen. Yesterday, Kristen became a whopper, just so that we're all on the same page. Because what happened is that food was ordered, and Kristen was in charge of ordering the food, but all the food didn't come, so it didn't come for a couple of us. And then Kristen se puso bien guapa, and she started calling and making all these threats to the restaurant. And then what happened is this morning. No, they were. Well, according to her, they were. Withhold payment. Guaperia is what was going on when you were talking. And maybe one day we'll get to that on the wheel, and you guys don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But there was tremendous Guaperia going on yesterday, and then all of a sudden, everybody's food came very passive aggressively, I might add, by the restaurant, sending them one at a time every missed meal. So there was about 17 deliveries that came.
For that.
Yeah.
That's a super funny joke.
So she came, and it took about 3 hours for everyone's food to finally get here because it was coming one meal at a time after the Guaperia. But then some people, not to mention any names, had diarrhea today. And we think that what was happening was her Guaperia had them doing something, playing around with the food.
The Guaperia give you diarrhea.
Amin gets it.
Put it on the poll. Does the Guaperia give you diarrhea at Le Batard Show?
While we're talking about Kristen, I learned a doozy about her at our hangout, our team building thing on Thursday.
Mixer?
Thanks for the invite.
It's the thing.
It's
Oh
the thing.
my God, this thing is repulsive.
Dan, if I had to say,
More repulsive than A-Rod admitting that he's eating cereal with orange juice.
That's a Dominican thing.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a very Dominican thing.
Yeah.
if I
Makes it no less
but the way
repulsive.
that he described it was not that I do this culturally. It was I was staying at Derek Jeter's place. There was no milk. The only liquid available was orange juice. So I put orange juice in my cereal.
Does he not get that Jeter does not like him? Like,
It's
does
very
he
evident.
not
I was
understand
watching
that?
I was
He
watching the
hates
KayRod
Yeah.
show, whatever, and like Jeter shows up, and A-Rod's talking, and Michael K's like nodding, and Jeter's just like looking up, and then looks
Does
at him.
not
like,
hide his
I
disdain.
was just like, this guy
Has
here,
never
man.
hid his disdain. But I will say it's not necessarily one of necessity. Dominicans like their cereal with orange juice. I had a Dominican nanny. Her name was Albaidis. That's how she ate her cereal.
That is a great name for a Dominican nanny, by the way.
So what I learned was Kristen said, I'm going to play a little fill in the blank here, and I want you guys to guess what it could be.
Okay.
I put blank on my pancakes.
Syrup.
Syrup was not the answer, Billy.
Whipped cream.
Honey,
Orange juice.
Nope.
Mayonnaise.
Is she Dominican?
Nope. Dan's the closest so far.
Nutella.
Ketchup.
Nope.
wait, what did Dan say?
Mayonnaise.
Miracle Whip.
It's a condiment. I'll start there.
That's the same thing. Isn't Miracle Whip?
Relish.
Oh, I heard it. Honey mustard, Tony just said in the corner.
On a pancake?
Honey mustard. My jaw dropped.
Flapjack?
She's a big honey mustard person, and her way of emphasizing this to me was I put it on my pancakes. And
On
I
a
just
hot cake?
And I left. I just walked out. I got up and I just left.
On a silver
I
dollar.
will not sit for
I will
On a
not sit
silver
for this. I said
dollar.
I will not sit for this. I'm leaving.
That's disgusting.
I told her, I was like, this will make air. So here it is. You're welcome, Kristen.
You ran out of.
Put it on the poll.
3, right?
At Le Batard Show. Is Miracle Whip mayonnaise at Le Batard Show? And have you ever heard of anyone putting honey mustard on pancakes?
On a short stack?
I'd like to go back for a second here and ask you guys
On a block, you push your defender to the ground?
if you guys understand how deep your disdain has to be
On an American crepe?
for us to notice that you don't like A-Rod when you silently sit next to him. This is the second time this has happened. Do you know how hard it is to convey through silence that you don't like someone to everyone watching on television?
Flapjack?
We're in reruns now.
On a griddle cake.
There it is.
There it is.
It was really awkward. I watched another. I didn't see the whole thing the other night. There was a clip where they had some picture of them shirtless on a Sports Illustrated thing, and Jeter says before the clip, "You put the picture up, it'll be my last time here," like as a threat to the producer. And then 30 seconds goes by. Michael K calls out the producer. "You've scared my producer. They have not put it up yet because you just said that." And then the producer puts it up, and Jeter's like, "Well, this will be my last time here." And it's just like this icy moment of like, is he kidding? I don't think he's kidding about this. He's weird.
Yeah. I've become a big Jeter guy after he left the Marlins. The social media just is misbehaving. I like it.
The
On a
photograph,
chalet?
the cover shoot, was it the cover shoot of Sports Illustrated? It was shirtless Jeter, A-Rod, Garcia Parra, and Édgar Renteria. Is that
I don't remember. It's such a because they look good on it. Like it's such a weird thing for Jeter to get seriously. Like you better not put this up or it's my last time here. It's just weird.
On a panqueque?
Did you find that part weird, Billy? That he would, and did you find the threat real? Was his threat serious? That he would never appear? I don't know why he's appearing in the first place.
Well, he
next
has to be
A-Rod.
promoting the captain, right?
But but he can promote whatever he wants to, wherever he wants to. It doesn't have to be, I'm sure, contractually while sitting next to A-Rod if he doesn't like him, and he's going to make that discomfort very obvious to all of us by staring into space.
Michael K made a joke at the end. I think he could feel the vibe of Jeter never coming back. He's like, what do you think, Jeets? A little DJ KayRod thing going forward? And it was just like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Gave him top billing, though, at least.
Love that Michael K just sort of, he probably knows both of them. He's friendly with both of them. And so he can probably just he can jab Derek Jeter probably unlike anyone else in the media.
It was that icy, huh?
But we know, David Sampson has told us that the bid for Marlins ownership was A-Rod v. Jeter. And we know that there is still, I would imagine, a ton of frosty feelings off the back of that. Whose idea was it to put them on television together? But there was one. Weren't they on CNB? Weren't they be on
yes, that's
CNBC
the other time I was
once?
talking about. In fact, we probably have that sound somewhere of how awkward that was, because it was pretty awkward throughout. And I think this time Jeter accomplished the same thing with silence that at the time he accomplished with words, which is to make it known that he basically can't stand A-Rod. I wanted to talk to you, Amin, as they search for that sound about more serious subject matter. You found the sound already?
Yeah, it's super long, but let's see if we can see the iciness 2 minutes in.
The important thing here is you've moved on here. You guys are both big charity people. You've been raising money for charity here. Who are you representing here this year?
I'm representing the Boys and Girls Club from Miami. That's where I learned how to play baseball when I was 10 years old. It's a wonderful organization.
Yeah. And Alex, what are you doing here?
I'm here representing the Turn.
Got it right? Go ahead, Derek. Tell us what you're doing here.
Turn 2 Foundation. A foundation that started 20 years ago. Yeah. Prevention of drug and alcohol use for kids. So it's happy to be here.
Now, we were going to talk to you about the charity events, but you sort of moved everything around here with what happened last night at the Met Gala. You sort of stole the whole show.
This interview's going all type of places.
Well, we
had a great time last night. It was an awesome night. It was a celebration of art and fashion.
This is actually the most united they've ever been. I remember.
No, it gets worse.
I remember the interviewer was terrible.
People want to know. That's when I came in. I look at the paper. That's what's there in the paper.
That's great.
Yeah, happy about that. Okay, we're gonna keep moving on. Now, you've been in the news recently, not at the Met Gala, but you're interested in buying the Marlins now. Tell us a little bit about that. Any more news? Anything you can add to that?
There's absolutely nothing to add to that. I think media has ran with a story, but there's nothing to add. We're here today for the BTIG Charity Day.
$1.3 billion, so a lot of money, though. That's to buy a big league baseball team. You're going to be involved in that if we get the deal done?
Like I said, we're here for the charity event today, and we're not here to talk about anything else.
Before I let you go, let me ask you about the game of baseball. There's been people who've been arguing the game should be speeded up a little. I've heard some people want to have a pitch clock. Some people want to shorten the innings. Should baseball be speeded up, or is it fine just the way it is right now?
Last year, we had 42 million people watching Game 7 of the World Series, which tells you that there is a market for baseball, and I think we're coming back.
That was huge.
Yeah.
The rest of the game's sometimes not as great. Did you enjoy the Met Gala last night?
I'm sorry?
Did you enjoy the Met Gala? 3 hours. It's a legitimate question to ask. The Met Gala last night.
I was not there, no.
You were not there.
No, I was not there.
But did you?
E-channel.
I thought you were going to try to make it there. Did you enjoy the game?
Did I enjoy the game?
The Met Gala last night.
I did. And Katy Perry put on a great show.
Oh, look at Billy. Look how happy Billy is. Someone else failing at the job. You were just...
I don't know who I like more. Derek Jeter, who's like, I'm not doing this, or Aaron's like, yeah, let's talk about Katy Perry now. Whatever the topic is, A-Rod's ready to go. And Jeter's like, I'm not doing any of this. I'm here for charity.
There was not a lot of chemistry there. Mike, why are you crawling around in your own skin?
Oh, God, it's so awkward. But I will say, for their relationship, that's the strongest bond ever fortified between the two. They were unified in that this guy was an ass.
They teamed up.
They've
never shown better chemistry.
They haven't been this united since they were shirtless on the cover of Sports Illustrated with Édgar Rentería and Nomar Garcia-Parra.
How about Derek Jeter fake newsing the eventual Marlins acquisition? The media is just running with something.
In retrospect, the guy was pretty on point. He was talking about like a clock on pitches, right? He's
It should
talking
have been
about
speeded up in his words.
Well, he's nervous at that point. What I heard was an interviewer
Leaking
who is known. He knows it's gone poorly, and now he can't get his verb tenses
I'm
right.
saying my favorite part was when he says, "How was the game?" And A-Rod says, "The game? I mean the Met Gala, the Met Gala." Oh man, all I thought of was Chris.
He's
Chris
like,
Cote.
but you wanted to go, right? Or he like petered out with some question.
I think Jeter was like, I didn't go to that. He's like, but how was it anyway?
Yeah, but you wanted to. Or
Very Stugotz response, just like get into whatever you can get to next.
I want to play it again and just have a camera close up on Billy's face so you can see how much he enjoys when others are hurting. The discomfort.
I was poisoned yesterday, okay?
Yeah, happy about that.
I was poisoned yesterday. Did you have the diarrhea?
Yeah.
Guaperia, Diarrhea, Édgar Rentería.
That's the title.
Yeah, happy about that.
Stugotz here for my friends over at Simply Safe. Home security isn't a game. No, it's not, but a lot of companies act like it is, trying to upsell and overcharge you every chance they get. This is why I use and trust Simply Safe Home Security. They are different. Simply Safe is advanced technology that puts the safety of me and my family first. Easy to set up. If I can do it, anyone can. There are no long-term contracts, no hidden fees, and the peace of mind that I get with Simply Safe Home Security is second to none. Simply Safe monitoring agents truly care about your well-being and are highly trained to help you keep calm and safe during stressful situations, staying on the line with you until help arrives. How about that? For caring and peace of mind. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/DLB. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Dan Le Batard.
That bear was not on Hal's deck. Excuse me. I was going to say desk. I meant deck. I botched it. Terrible. $2. Penalty box, 2 minutes. See ya. Home for the day. Walk to the ocean. What do you want me to do? Super Bowl week, Dan. I didn't ask for any of this. And I have no money. Aqua?
Stugotz.
Walk to the ocean.
What?
Walk to the ocean.
I really have no money.
Get out of here. Get out of here. I'll do the show without you.
I don't like.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I wanted to talk a little bit about what happened to Salman Rushdie. And for those of you who do not know, because I think he's old enough and this story is old enough that many of you probably do not know the history. If you're under 30 years old, you might not remember how this started. But Salman Rushdie is a famous author who was a very good author before he wrote the Satanic Verses, which then propelled him into an international superstardom of fame and infamy and polarization, and threw him in the middle of some religious wars because Khomeini, the supreme leader of Iran, ordered a fatwa, ordered an assassination on Rushdie.
Bounty.
And he fled. Yes, that's correct. And he fled, and he's lived in America. And this was 1989. And I mean, your father read the book. You said, right? Yeah. I have not read the book.
Neither have I. And what my father said was, like, he wanted to see what the fuss was about. Oh my God, this guy must have gone nuts. And then he said, it wasn't that. I mean, that offensive. But more importantly, it wasn't that good of a book. It was kind of boring, to be honest. But his feeling was that the premise was way more explosive than the actual content. And so people got upset at the premise, and that created a furor around it, but also fueled sales in the same way that, if you guys remember when The Passion of the Christ came out, remember there was this whole thing where people were going nuts. How could da-da-da-da-da? And then it turns out like it was a pretty meh movie, to be honest with you. But the
The blasphemy in it. The blasphemy in it creates a controversy and stir that is international because a supreme religious leader is ordering an assassination because he has deemed this man's book to be that offensive, that wrong, that immoral. You do not write, even in fiction, even though Rushdie's style is magical, not reality. You do not write in fiction about the prophet that way. And 30 years later in New York, he is ironically speaking and still famous and wanted in speaking circles because it is rare for an author to have a religious leader make an international assassination request 30 years later. And I don't know what Rushdie's been living with, but I remember at the time thinking to myself, man, what an awful place that must be to live in, to write a book and to have to flee and live somewhere else and to worry every day that religious zealotry, its tentacles, can grab you anywhere because a religious leader from 30 years ago, it felt like a guillotine to me that an author was living with daily that had no safety even over 30 years, still didn't have safety when someone who wasn't even born when the book came out stabbed him with such religious ferocity that he was on a ventilator, reportedly isn't going to have use of his eye, around the neck, and when he was pulled away, was still stabbing violently because he was looking to end this man's life.
The fascinating thing is, stabbed by a man who wasn't alive when the book came out, stabbed on the orders of a man who's not alive now. Ayatollah Khomeini is like, he's been dead for like 20 years or something. So it's just like, where in the world does this person land where like you are following, it's, I mean, I hate to make light of it, but it's like Chris's Twitter account. This guy is so late to the game. You're showing up now to carry this out? And the reality is, Dan, with as is the case, I believe, with a lot of these crazy religious motivated attacks, I think there's a mental health thing going on there. I don't think this dude is like super religious. There are a lot of super religious people who felt strongly about that book or whatever, and may not even feel sympathy for Salman Rushdie and what happened to him. But like what you described there, what this 24-year-old did, that sounds to me like someone who's got some issues and is looking for something to identify himself with.
Well, we see all over the place that is at the source of gun violence, mass shootings. That is a whole lot of estranged, scared, ill people filled with hatred and other things, making the world feel more dangerous today, even at a setting where an author is giving a speech about how great it is to live in America, where you can write what you want without having a fear that you will be harmed. He escaped to our country and safety, and in our country, it feels less safe than it has. And whether it's this incident or Chappelle, who that could have been much worse than it was if the attacker had been as efficient as this one was. I don't know if two is enough to set off alarms for you. These are two famous people, but that the freedom of speech now comes with these consequences too. How many do I have to make it for you to set off the alarms all over the place, that this isn't just an illness of the moment or a cause of the moment, that we're in a vastly more dangerous place when free speech is physically under attack, and the people who are supporting it are at the peril of dying while giving a speech defending it.
And it's weird to tell as well in politics, as we're going through primaries all over the country right now, where politicians are getting these kind of threats from these maniacs. And so the wild thing to me is that I wonder if anyone notices that it's not aligned with a specific ideology or belief or religion. It's across the board, right? The guy that attacked Chappelle and the guy that attacked Salman Rushdie and the guy that's threatening to attack, politicians, like the guy that shot Gabby Gifford, right? If we describe them in their belief systems, it's wildly different. what's the common thing? Is that these are people, for whatever reason, cannot accept the existence of someone who speaks to them or speaks in a way that they find to be unpalatable.
But is mental illness the chief thing there, or is it an ingredient of loneliness, an ingredient of not being connected to anything, an ingredient of anger? It's quite the potion.
An ingredient of escalation. We live in a time where the way you prove that you believe this thing is you need to escalate it. You need to take it levels beyond. Everyone else is upset. Someone's got to do something about it. And that someone is me, right? And, just think about like things like on Twitter when a movie comes out. It's either the greatest movie ever or this movie's trash. And there's no in between. We live in a society where we have...
Coming from the man who called Hamilton,
it is
trash.
It is trash. It is trash. But we live in a society that rewards and demands extremism. That's how you show, right? The idea when people, it's funny. I think about this a lot. Do you guys remember the 2004 election and what they call my man? They called him a flip-flopper. Remember that? It was such a big thing. Like
the Swift Boat campaign.
Yep. Was it Kerry?
John Kerry, yeah.
Yeah, a flip-flopper.
How quaint.
Right. But it was the seeds of where we are now, where it's like, nah, man, you got to say boom or you got to say bam, but you can't go boom, bam. Like, there's no part of this where you can say, I don't agree with the guy, but I kind of see his point. Like, no. You're with him all the way. If you're not with him, you're not with him all the way. What's happened with the January 6th, hearings and all that?
Or everything. I mean, everything.
I'm just using examples.
But you can use any of them.
Exactly. But it's like something like when January 6th happened, we all were like, oh my God, this is all, oh my God, they want to kill Mike Pence? Like, I don't like Mike Pence, but shit, man, like, you can't be out here trying to assassinate people and calling that freedom, right? And the day after, the Republicans were like, shit, this shit might be a little too crazy. And we all like, yeah, these guys, all right, let's calm everything down. And barely a year later, it's like, was it that bad? Was it that bad? Like, what? I saw your bitch ass hiding. Like, you feared for your life. You feared for your life. And you should have. Because that was unhinged. But given enough time, you got to pick a side. I live in Arizona. Right now, we got all the primaries going on, and you get those things on the side of the road. I don't see them as much here. In Arizona, they're everywhere. Like comptroller and for Congress, for state house.
All the signs.
All the signs, right? You know what the big thing they do in Arizona is Trump-backed, Trump-supported. Trump, I'm like, he's not running. You are, right? And then they do the opposite too. So Carrie Lake is running for office, and to like undercut her, one of her opponents, I don't know who, Carrie Lake donated to Obama, and the sign has a picture of Carrie Lake and Obama. Like, imagine it's like sports has infected them. Right? Imagine if
sports is way ahead here.
No,
sports is so ahead of politics here.
But it's infected.
In the stupidity of it. Yes. The stupidity of
like
it.
The idea that we have to view everything in basketball through the prism of, well, Michael Jordan didn't lose a fight. That's how we talk about it 20 years after the man played a game. We're still talking about this. Same thing is going on now, where years after either of these men were in office, that's how we do the identifiers. Because it's very clear. Are you team this or are you team that? And it's impossible to say, I'm a Republican. Trump, well, I'm a Republican, though. I'm definitely a Republican, but I'm not like that. You can't say that. It's impossible. Their branding is so strong that you say, you're on this team. If you're not on this team, put the picture of Obama up. She like Obama.
But the other thing, too, is we played that sound earlier in the show from David Bowie talking about the internet. It is the multitudes of the internet. Presumably, there is a world in which the person who attempted to assassinate Salman Rushdie was radicalized or was able to fall down a rabbit hole in the internet in which this became a priority in his life and something that he wanted to do. It's not part of the mainstream culture, but so many things aren't, and yet... Yes, there have been American presidents who were assassinated. There were several other assassination attempts in the aftermath. The president of Japan was recently assassinated. So let's not pretend like this hasn't always existed. But there is a world in which people can live in which this sort of becomes their obsession, and a fatwa against Salman Rushdie from 33 years ago is the thing that is most important in their life because it's the most important thing in their corner of the internet.
The internet has provided communities for affirmation. People don't actually have to face the music, that they were wrong about something, that they are not within the school of normal, air quotes, thought. They can just deny the truth. They don't have to accept something that's unfortunate for them and go be welcomed into the warm bosom of someone that agrees with them, even if that someone might not actually be real, even if it's just a generated bot.
And they talk about this about how people get radicalized, right? How people in Afghanistan and Pakistan and in rural areas, and a lot of it has to do with things like just a terrible quality of life and a feeling of nothingness. And then you get embraced, to use Mike's word, in the bosom of, hey man, you need food? We'll get you food. Hey man, what you need? Your family needs. We got you. We'll take care of you. And as they bring you in, they kind of reveal kind of things, and they slowly turn you, and you start to see things from your way because you're like, these are the only people who have ever cared about me or helped me when I was in need. Americans didn't care about me. My government didn't care about me, but these guys do. And so that feeling of belonging, which is an instinct that goes back to our evolution, right? Like, we want to feel like we're part of something. It ends up, you want to show to everybody else, yo, I'm down for this. Hell, man, you could say that about our show. There are people who love this show so much that if someone from on the outside, some public figure, says something about Dan Le Batard's a hack, you can see it. You can see how they mobilize and they attack, and it's just because they feel like they belong. And that feeling of belonging comes with it, a desire to protect what we have. I know I'm not trying to compare assassination attempts to Twitter firestorms, but I'm telling you, all of these are the same kind of human threads that run throughout.
Dan Le Batard.
Dave Coulier is with us. Did you see the Shandling documentary Judd Apatow did?
Stugotz.
Yeah, I was in it.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
So a couple of weeks ago, you guys were talking about the anthropomorphism of food, right? Like, I think Jess was talking about she talks to her food. And at first I was like, that's ridiculous. Then I realized I get a special kick out of eating predators. Snakes, gator, oh my God. If this animal hunts other animals, I'm all the way in. And I do talk to my food. Then it's like, oh, you thought you were tough, huh? Welcome to the top of the food chain.
This is the most Arizona shit I've ever heard in my life.
Well, you said gators, though.
It's the most Florida shit I've ever heard in my life.
You guys don't like eating like animals that are typically used to eating other animals?
When have you heard?
I've never even thought of it.
I don't know anyone that's ever even
Like other humans?
Snake?
I've never considered
snake?
what it is that
This is the main plot point of Prey on Hulu.
Yes.
Again, you guys are going to talk about Prey.
Oh, what a great movie.
But that's how the Predator dismisses the hero of the film because he doesn't consider her to actually be a threat.
She's not a predator.
He's only viewed her being hunted by other prey. And so he's prioritized the other prey until, Maya have the turntables.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I am looking very much forward to a Predator movie in which the Predator actually gets to win. We saw it a little bit with Predators.
Predators, yeah.
We saw it, but I mean, come on.
I watched it last night.
I mean, come
Who
on.
won
Who from
Predators versus Aliens?
Aliens won.
Aliens won the first
Yeah.
one. I think Predators leveled the score in Alien versus Predator 2.
Is there a rubber match?
Look,
I don't think we're getting the
so
rubber
okay,
match.
so there's supposed to be a sequel to Predators. Did you know that? There was supposed to be a sequel where they like leave planet or that weird planet or whatever. They escape.
The Hunting Planet.
Yeah. And Adrian Brody was like, I want to do it, but then it just kind of lost steam. But the way they were going to do it was that was where the original Alien v Predator tie-in was going to be. Was through that, and then the studio just kind of like lost steam.
And then they prioritized the Shane Black one, and that movie was just like so bad. That one's the worst one in the franchise. They had the kid with autism. And they wanted to make autism a form of evolution. The Predators were very interested in that. And you had these predator dogs that were the enemy, but then all of a sudden you can train them. And then Olivia Munn is sharing a scene with the screenwriter's sexual predator friend. It was just it all went sideways all too soon.
Where there's an actual predator?
Yeah, an actual predator.
Jeez. By the way, I heard Roy phobe Predator 2. Why, Roy? I know you did it on Cinephobe, which, by the way, you can get that episode right now. It's out now. But Roy, like,
what's Cinephobe?
Cinephobe, I'm glad you asked, Dan. It's the podcast where Zach Harper and I watch movies that are poorly rated on Rotten Tomatoes and try to ascertain whether or not they were accurately rated or maybe they didn't get a fair shake. That's Cinephobe. It's produced by Anthony Mays. You get it wherever you get podcasts, part of the Le Batard and Friends podcast network. This month, we've got Denzel Washington month. We've done Virtuosity. We've done Heart Condition. And Thursday drops Fallen.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, what a movie. What a performance by everybody.
It is on my side.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Predator is a movie that our show has been obsessed with since whenever, 1987, whenever it is that Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers did a handshake that stayed on the screen for 30 seconds to show off both of their biceps. A movie that produced not one but two United States governors. A movie that at one point had Sonny Landham, the Native American guide who crossed an X on his chest with his knife. He was about to stay at Stugotz's house.
It was just a slash. It wasn't an X. I recently watched it. I've done my Predator rewatch in anticipation for Prey, and we've gone on a lot of Predator tangents.
Too much.
But it's just a cool-looking monster.
Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Again, Sonny Landham was going to stay at Stugotz's house. We had a whole, we've got an obsession with this show, with this movie.
It became evident that the late Sonny Landham, not to speak ill of him, but he was definitely battling through some mental illness, said some very hateful things along the way. And so it was probably the better decision that Sonny Landham did not stay at Stugotz's house.
Well, we were worried that he was going to kill Stugotz. We thought all of it was a bad idea, and it was just us being reckless and not planning things very well.
He also ran for the governorship of Kentucky.
Yeah, I would have made it 3 governors.
Wow.
Yeah. His campaign didn't really get off the ground all that much on account of the things that he'd said.
Jesse Ventura was governor of Minnesota.
Schwarzenegger,
the governor of California.
Sonny was a libertarian, by the way.
Can you do Schwarzenegger in a Minnesota accent?
Oh, I'm from Fargo, North Dakota. Yeah? Eh?
Hey.
Come with me if you want to live, don't you know?
I don't believe that the audience has the obsession with this film that our show does. I believe that you have worn them out by talking about the prequel, Prey. Keegan-Michael Key, weirdly, because he has the same sort of love for the movie that we do, starred in the most recent
Predators. Yeah, he was in that train wreck of a movie.
It was bad, huh?
It was bad, and it ended Shane Black's career, which is, I mean, a lot of people would say that's fortunate and good on you, but I enjoyed Shane Black's movies. The Nice Guys, we're never going to get a sequel to that. He was a script doctor for Predator. He had so many great movies. I was a fan, and that Predators movie ostensibly ended his career.
I also believe, didn't the guy who directed Predator, didn't he also do Hunt for Red October?
John McTiernan, yeah.
Yep.
And didn't he end up in jail for a long time? He did. Did he
tax evasion? I think we talked to him about it.
Yeah. Did he do Die Hard as well?
Yeah,
he did.
That's why they couldn't get him for Predator 2. And his price went up.
Hunt for Red October.
Yep.
That's a lot of good movies, man. That guy had a run.
My man was doing a damn thing, but because he was doing a damn thing, Predator 2 could not afford him. Also, in Predator 2, originally it was supposed to open with they come to a golf course and there's a man with gray hair playing golf. And he turns around, it's Schwarzenegger. And they're like, yo, the Predator is back. It's in Los Angeles. We need you. And him and Danny Glover were supposed to team up to take down the Predator. That was the original script. But Schwarzenegger said no because he had to do another movie. Do you know what movie it was? Twins. Because he was doing Twins, he couldn't do Predator 2.
Good decision.
One of the things that you have to appreciate about how terrible Predator 2 was that you go from Schwarzenegger to the gangly, doesn't run straight, does a circular, hurried run with his gun of Donald Glover in Lethal Weapon.
Danny
Glover, excuse me.
You have Childish Gambino fighting the Predator.
No, Danny Glover, my bad. Danny Glover, gangly and sprinting, like he doesn't sprint from place to place straight. He circles around with his gun because he's got to wave his gun and take the momentum of the gun over to the side. Not the thing that's going to kill the predator. That speed, that motion is not going to kill the predator.
Zach said he clears corners like he's chopping wood. The whole movie, he clears. By the way, also great scene where he rips the car door off of his car, drives the car, still driving the car, leans out of the car with the gun up to the gangsters and shoots, still steering, still pushing his foot on the gas, but he's leaning out the side of the car. Badass. Total badass and sweaty as well.
A sweaty?
Oh, incredible.
Glover?
Yeah, super sweaty. Is there any other kind? I'm sorry to do this to you. You talk to your alligator when you eat it? I'm sorry.
I do. Yo, before I take that first bite, yeah, Tony knows.
Let me get. So I'm an adventurous eater too, and I mean, in Denver, I went to a bar that serves like different animals in sausage, right? So one of them was a rattlesnake sausage.
That's what I had.
Little spicy, a little bit of a bite to it. Anybody?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy gets it.
Dude, you have to tell it. No, kangaroos
are terrifying.
No, but it's like
kangaroo is far more intimidating than any alligator you could eat.
Get out of here.
Yeah, good dish as well.
They're not predators, though. Kangaroos are not predators.
Bit gamey.
Yeah, I think I've had kangaroos.
They will disembowel you, though, won't they? Won't a kangaroo disembowel you?
It can knock you clean out.
I don't know if they do. But
do they just kick you?
No, just kick you. Does an alligator just bite you?
But is it just strength of kick, or is also claws and talons? Can they actually do what a cassowary or an ostrich can do? Disembowel you.
I've seen a close-up of kangaroo hands. You don't want it.
Oh, you don't want them hands. No. Alligators, not so much. Never feared myself like an alligator in a boxing ring.
Crocodiles, I do. Alligators, not so much.
Dude, so have you ever had crocodile or alligator?
Yeah.
And you didn't talk
Gator
to
bites.
it? You didn't talk to it?
No, I don't do that.
You didn't tell it like, who's got the upper hand now?
No.
Welcome to the top of the food chain.
No, that's weird.
I mean, you're the only one who does this.
No, what?
No, the only thing I ever say to my food is just like, I just shoot it into the atmosphere like, oh, that's good.
Welcome to the top of the...
Chris, you got to let him know.
Yeah.
Oh, this alligator was swimming around. Ooh, you're my meal. You're my meal. Ha, nom, nom, nom. And then next thing you know, like, whoa, why am I frying on this guy's plate? And right before it goes in my mouth, I say, welcome to the top of the food chain.
Do you dedicate it to anybody?
You need to do it in front of other gators so that they know.
So they know?
Yeah.
To send the message.
Yeah.
Hey, it could be any one of y'all. It could be any one of y'all.